Picture this. 7-year-old girl wakes up screaming in the middle of the night because she thinks the air conditioner's a bomb. And a 10-year-old boy hasn't spoken a single word in over a year. And a 12-year-old, she won't let go of her mother's hand now, even to go to the restroom. And these aren't just stories, people. This is exactly what a civil war does to children's minds. And this is happening right now to millions of kids. And we like to talk about who wins or loses in a war. Why is it that nobody ever talks about the kids? The ones who never chose a side. They don't wear political colors. They don't wave flags. They just get to try to survive while the world that they once knew disappears all around them. And the first thing that war steals from them is their safety. Because bombs and bullets and soldiers and hunger, they don't care how old you are. Children get caught right in the middle of the fighting too. So even when the fighting stops, the damage doesn't. Because not having enough food, that stunts a child's growth, changes how their minds work. So the body, it survives, but it's never the same. And then comes the constant running and stress and the things that go along with that. A lot of times families are forced to grab whatever they can and flee. So one night they may be asleep in their own beds and the next night on the road or in a tent full of strangers. And the schools are closed for years and the teachers are all gone. And a lot of those kids get to spend their whole childhood without ever opening a book. Could you imagine what it's like to be 12 years old and not know how to read or write your own name? And then when peace does finally return, those learning years are gone forever. But see, what we don't get to see is what war does to their mind. It doesn't just scare them. It actually rewires how their brains work. And doctors call this toxic stress. It's sort of like a fire alarm going off in your head all the time. So most of these kids, they can't sleep and they have all kind of nightmares and they jump at every sound. Hell, some of them are teenagers and they're still wet in the bed. Their bodies are stuck in this constant panic mode. So now a car backfiring feels like an attack to them. And every shadow holds a intruder. Could you imagine trying to learn something when your brain is constantly screaming, danger, danger, all day? You can't. It would be impossible. And here's the part that should terrify you the most. That stress, it's not just in their heads. It's physically changing their brains. That stress of war, that pressure, it actually shrinks a part of the brain that's used for learning and memory and controlling your feelings. You see, when a child's brain is forced to do nothing but focus on survival, that's all it does. It stops growing the way it should. So kids in those war zones, they constantly score a lot lower on cognitive tests. They're not broken so much. They're just changed by being in constant fear. So even if they escape to safety, they're behind. And not because they can't learn, but because terror and war, it took the years that their minds were supposed to be growing. And you would think that, I don't know, peace would fix this. But see, their brains don't recognize peace. Some of those kids become what we like to refer to as hyper aggressive because that's all they know. So they fight all the time. They break the rules, basically do whatever they want because anger makes them feel strong. It makes them feel powerful. This is what they've been taught through war, the powerful rule. And then you have on the opposite end of that spectrum, other kids just shut down completely. They build walls around themselves because feeling anything just hurts too much. And worst of all, they stop trusting adults because we were supposed to keep them safe and we didn't do it. So they'll cling to whoever's left or they'll push everyone away. You see, they don't know what love feels like without fear. This is what happens, though, when every goodbye could be the last. And it's like everything in their world falls apart. Their playgrounds, nothing but rubble and piles of broken concrete. Their classrooms have become bomb shelters. So there's no more laughter. There's no normal day for these children. There's no birthday parties, no playing with your friends down the street, no riding bikes, none of that. These children learn that nothing is safe. Not people, not places, hell, not even tomorrow. And even when they grow up, learning to feel safe again, that can take a whole lifetime. You see, you can fix buildings faster than you can fix trust. And when everything is in chaos, the predators come out. That's when they see their chance. Because these children are easy targets. So a 14-year-old joins a militia group just for 3 meals a day. And in his mind, oh, safety, he's made it. But we all know it's a trap. These people know that these kids are broken and are easy to trick. So they're forced to work or turn into soldiers or even worse, they get sold to strangers. And at the same time, the hospitals are all falling apart. There's no medicine. So kids with conditions, asthma, diabetes, they have nowhere to go. So they end up casualties too. And there's no help for those broken minds. Staying alive in a war zone for them is kind of like rolling the dice. And even when the shooting stops, that war keeps going right on inside them, in their bodies, and in their dreams, and in their minds. You see, that brain damage, that gets passed down like a family curse. A mother's whose mind was broken, we'll say, by war, she can pass that fear right down to her children, even if they grew up somewhere totally different. And they call this intergenerational trauma. All it means is the war continues. So when people sit around and they talk about civil war like it's a fresh start, remember who pays the price. It's not the politicians. It's not those loud ass blabbermouths online. It's the kids. You see, we can always rebuild bridges and buildings. But how do you rebuild a childhood? How do you rebuild that trust in a child's eyes? And let's be honest, people, these kids deserve a whole hell of a lot more than just survival. They deserve minds that work. They deserve childhoods. They deserve the right to grow up. But here's the truth. We can talk about rebuilding all we want. And we can promise therapy and schools and safety, but you can't unsee what they've seen. And you can't unfeel what they felt. Experiences last a lifetime. So the next time someone talks about civil war like it's some kind of a damn reset button, just remember this. Children don't get a reset. They get a lifetime of trying to forget what we let happen to them. We're the problem, not them. This is a topic that I wasn't sure if I was going to put it out there. I've heard a lot about civil war and what will happen to us and our democracy and things like that. But no one ever talked about what happens to the children. And they'll be just as much involved in this civil war as we are. Make no mistake about that. They'll see everything we see. They'll hear everything we hear. And they'll experience everything we experience. Problem is, they have a lot more time left than we do. So these scars will last them a lifetime. That worries the hell out of me. And they're innocent. They didn't pick a side. They give a fuck about, excuse me. They could care less about red or blue. But hey, people, we got to do better. We got to stop just considering what we want and consider how our actions will affect other people. You got any thoughts or comments on this? Anything you want to share? Please, by all means, drop them down in the comments and let's talk about them. I love when you guys leave comments and we get to go back and forth about stuff. But hey, at any rate, I'm Unc. Take care of yourself and each other. Kindness, love, respect. We need to show each other a hell of a lot more of these. Always, not just right now. But hey, I'll catch you guys in the next one.